First time here, answering some questions. I appreciate them. Dee Dee wants to know, have I been following along with the posts to encourage people to vote for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? And if so, did I enjoy reading them as much as you guys have enjoyed making them? As a matter of fact, I have been reading them, and it's really why I came here today, to say thanks for exceeding 1 million votes with another week to go. It's really nice that our friends out there who've supported the band for such a long time are having their voices heard, and it's been fun. Well, fingers crossed, we'll find out in the next couple of weeks, and we'll share it with you guys. So thank you for your support, and thank you, Dee Dee, for the question. Let's see. Marcella Lopez. Hey, John, would you ever consider writing a play about Tommy and Gina? Marcella, we've been approached a number of times over the years. When you see the success of Mamma Mia or Jersey Boys or Rock of Ages, music that is familiar to a broad audience seems to be an opportunity on the stage. As some of you may know, David Bryan, our keyboard player, won 4 Tonys with his debut play, Memphis, and he's currently working on several others, getting them ready for Broadway. So he too had mentioned to me that the opportunity is always there if we chose to use the catalog of music. I think we would have a complete story. But I've just been so focused on continuing to write new music that it really hasn't been something I've seriously considered. Maybe someday. Thanks for the question. Eli Allen. Where did the ideas to write songs like Bed of Roses and Always come from, especially after writing glam rock for the majority of the 80s? It's just an extension as a songwriter. I mean, Runaway is obviously different than You Give Love a Bad Name, which is different from Bed of Roses or the evolution to This House Is Not for Sale. But these are 2 songs that I wrote on piano. So if you really want to think about it from a songwriting perspective, different songs come out of you at the piano than do on the guitar. I think it would have been especially different had I written Bed of Roses on a guitar. But sitting at the piano, it allowed for a certain feel, and the way my head felt that day, it also helped. The true story of that is I was in Los Angeles, California, and I was in a hotel, and I looked out this window, and there's an atrium hotel, and there's a wedding going on below. And the hotel were so kind to me, I asked them if they would let me use the piano after the wedding. And it was a little roll-away piano. And then I went out for the night. And I proceeded to have far too much fun, but when I came home, there was a piano in my room. And I felt a little guilty, but I felt a lot hungover. And the next morning, as I was getting up to leave the room, I'd never touched the piano. I thought, at least I should sit down for a moment. And I sat down, and the first chords I plunked out, I said, sitting here wasted and wounded at this old piano, trying hard to capture the moment, but this morning I don't know, because a bottle of vodka still lodged in my head, and some blonde gave me nightmares. I think she might still be in my bed. And I wrote that much, and I left it. And then I dabbled in it at home, and I played it for Danny Korchmar, who was producing Young Guns at the time, and he says, you got to finish this song. And it almost, I was taken aback, because I thought, well, I guess he must think it's okay. And I did. I sure am happy that I did. It was a big one for us. And Always, strangely enough, was written for a movie. Because I had had so much success writing Blaze of Glory for Young Guns and the Golden Globe and the Oscars and all that stuff, I thought, this is easy. Give me a script. I can do this every year. And I didn't know any better when you have beginner's luck. So I got a script for a film called Romeo is Bleeding. And I read the story and I liked it a lot. And I'd written the song, and it sounded completely different instrumentally. And the film ultimately didn't want a closing credits song. And as I sat on this track, a friend of ours, an A&R guy by the name of Jon Kolodner, used to work at Geffen Records, he pulled it down off of a shelf in our studio. He listened to it and he says, "Johnny, this is a smash." And I thought, okay, is it? And a guy named Peter Collins, who was doing the These Days record, ultimately, recorded that in my New Jersey house. And the band came over and we knocked it out in its current form. And thank God that Jon Kolodner thought that one was a smash, because needless to say, it was a big one for us. So that's the story of those two songs. Being technologically challenged as I am, I've just taken us off of the question page, and I have to ask for assistance. Usually I ask my kids to do that because I don't know how to do anything. Excellent. So thanks for those questions, Eli. Mia Crawford. Hi, Mia. Mia wants to know, are you working on any new music right now? As a matter of fact, Mia, we are. And a nice little surprise is that we're going to put out a couple of new songs to share with you for the new year. They're cut. We think they're pretty good, and just 2 tracks to support what we hope to be sharing with you soon in 2018. Let's see, Matt Loxton. Hi, Matt. Matt wants to know, what do you think is the best way for a newer artist to reach the big time? Write songs, Matt. Nothing else matters. The delivery system has obviously changed dramatically since I started. To be here at Facebook, I sort of feel like I'm on a spaceship somewhere. It's amazing. I don't know anything from this new era. You guys know, I said in the little caption when I got on social media in the last month that I'm the last guy in the 20th century to finally join the real world. But the point is that you have outlets to be heard. The question is do you have something worth being heard? So write a song. Write a song that moves you. Don't chase what's popular today. Don't chase fads or fashions, because by the time you learn them, they'll have moved on. And you'll either be a carbon copy of something, therefore you won't be around for 35 years, or it won't ring true and you'll be stuck singing, that song for the length of your career. So write songs, and write songs that mean something to you. Dave Niles. Howdy, Dave. Dave wants to know, how long does it take you to unwind after a concert? It's a good question. You leave a stage and it's somewhere between 15 and 50,000 people a night. It's virtually impossible to think you're going to go home and just go to bed. You leave the volume of the venue and the stage and the interaction and the energy, and then 10 minutes later you're in a car, and 20 minutes after that you're in a hotel room, and you just go into this quiet nothing. It's not easy, but it's the life we've chosen. And so 2 hours, 3 hours. After that, I'm usually pretty drained. So, you got to get up and do it all again the next day. Thanks for that, Dave. Dawn wants to know, what is my favorite Christmas tradition with the family? I have one thing that I ask of my family annually, that they take a picture in front of our house, and that they take a picture in front of the tree. And everyone has to be in the same position, because then I'll have this picture, book of the kids growing up. It's the only thing I ask. The rest of it, I go along with the punches and whatever it is, wherever it may take us. But the one thing that Dad asks is let me take bad, blurry pictures. And you got to remember, it's not like one click and it's done. I'm like these guys. I have lights. I have too many adjustments on my camera. I have the tripod sitting there. I check it. I double check it. I zoom in. Because probably get 99 bad pictures before I get the one. And they're pretty miserable about it. But such is life. You got to make Dad happy once a year. Let's see. Caitlin says... Caitlin's question is similar to the one just before this. But she'd like to know, what advice do I have for being a songwriter? And I guess I'll just reiterate, write something that moves you. Don't try to write something that is popular today, because by the time you get there, it's going to be too late and have moved on to something else. Suzanne Fosdell. Hi, Suze. What's the oldest song in your amazing catalog that you might consider playing live in the future that hasn't been played in a long time? Or any other song that hasn't been played in a long time? Thanks for all you do. Can't wait to see you guys live again. Suzanne, we've been keeping active. I've been keeping fresh, and actually we are delving back into the catalog, and now that Phil X and John Shanks are really comfortable up there, it's not just around This House Is Not For Sale and What About Now, but I've really been able to dig back down into These Days and a lot of the album tracks from Keep the Faith. So rehearsals sound great. We'll see once we get out there on the street, but we've been playing Dry County again, and Blaze of Glory, and These Days, and a lot of these Hey God. So rehearsals are feeling really great, and I'm feeling great vocally, so we'll see where it goes. So I think it's time for us to wrap up. First, I just want to say thank you to everybody here at Facebook, and I really appreciate your guys' 1 million+ votes. Needless to say, we'll be looking at the tally in a week from now, and then hopefully sharing with you some news either way. So I'll leave you with Romina Dominguez. She says, "Hi, John. So glad you're back on Facebook Live. My question's here. How are the current daily news and the situation in the country influencing you to write new lyrics for the new album? Back in the day, you said Bono was too political in his lyrics. Through the years, what made you change your mind?" I don't know if I ever said Bono was too political. I'm a huge fan of that, but I think how I remember phrasing it, at least, was that I wasn't using the stage as a soapbox. I wouldn't tell you who to vote for, I would just tell you to vote. So current news is obviously been filtered for the last year to a place where I'm able to process some of it and put melodies to it. So there is some mention without being too opined, but it's definitely prevalent, in one of the two new songs. World's gone crazy. I'm looking to you guys, to the next generation, to reinvent the wheel, be the future you want to be, because we're counting on you. And it's not being political if you're worrying about taking care of the planet that we live on and the people around you. And, we're all more alike than we are different. With that said, I'm going to say thank you. Have a great rest of your day. Have a very safe, happy, and healthy holiday. And I hope to see you with some big news, touring soon, and some better news in the next 2 weeks on the rest of it. So thanks for your time, and have a great day. See ya.